More communication is not going to solve your marriage issues. I hate that advice. You just need to communicate more. No. The communication is the problem. More of it won't solve the problem. It will only make it worse. Now, don't mishear me. We all need to get better at communication. That's the first thing they're going to teach you when you go to counseling for your broken marriage. You have to learn how to communicate with each other. And yeah, it will eventually help things. If there's an issue, if your spouse did something that made you feel hurt, and you feel like it's important enough to share, then of course it's healthy that we learn how to do that by taking ownership of our feelings and not blaming the other person, but instead calmly and directly telling them, hey, when you made fun of me at the party earlier, that made me feel disrespected and alone and hurt. You didn't make me feel those things, but I am feeling them. Now, this is important. Does the fact that you worded everything correctly in a calm and non-blaming way mean he's going to respond correctly? No, he might get defensive and dismiss you as too sensitive, or making him feel like the bad guy, or rolling his eyes at you. Communication isn't gonna fix that. What are you gonna say to fix that? Nothing. Talking more isn't gonna solve that problem. He's not hearing you. He's not receiving the information that you're speaking. He has an emotional block that you're unaware of. And before you point the finger at him, you might have some too. But what you're really saying in that moment is, I'm hurt, and I love you, and I'm not blaming you, but maybe this was even hard for me to share, but I'm giving you a chance to move in my direction. I'm giving you an opportunity to repair this hurt together because I care about you and I want us both to be reconnected. And one of two things will happen. He either moves toward you through empathy and understanding and curiosity and love, or he moves away from you through invalidation, excuses, and it produces more disconnection and distance than before, doesn't it? That's why you don't want to be vulnerable with him anymore, because there's no point in being vulnerable with someone who only hurts you. That's why you've given up hope, because your hurts and concerns and needs have gone invalidated. How do you fix that? Well, you do everything you can do to get healthy on your end through self-awareness and emotional maturity and relational intelligence. And that process helps you to see that you're worth so much more than his excuses or invalidation. Now, I'll give men more credit than you give them. He's not doing this on purpose. He actually does want to please you. He's not usually a narcissist. But here's the problem. He feels subconsciously attacked. His shame is activated, and he's not operating as normal Jimmy anymore. He's operating as terrified to be seen as a failure in your eyes and in his own. And so he does everything to squash those feelings. But in his fear, he thinks he's protecting the closeness or the connection that you have, when in reality, he's killing it. Does that excuse his behavior? Never. But it does explain it. And no change can ever happen until either of you are both curious as to why you do the things you do. See, he doesn't even notice that when he responds and reacts by invalidation and essentially telling you, well, you shouldn't feel that way, he's losing you. Or maybe he's already lost you. How do you solve this? You tell him, I want to be close to you. I want to feel emotionally safe with you. I want to be appreciated. I want to be able to bring up a concern or a complaint with you without it blowing up in our face. I want us to both feel loved and mutually respected and valued. Those aren't optional. Those are the bare minimum needs to make any relationship functional. And sure, some of you are happier that you got divorced. I'm not arguing that. I'm simply here trying to help us all achieve our goals, which for most people is a mutually fulfilling marriage from wedding day until death do us part. Some of you need to stop talking and make that counseling appointment. Some of you need to figure out what you actually need and desire in your relationships, and then ask yourself, am I putting myself in environments where those legitimate needs get met? Some of you need to apologize for being the second half of the fighting relationship with criticism and blame and rage. Some of you need to have those tough talks where you tell them, I don't want you to feel attacked, and I love you, but I don't feel emotionally safe in this relationship, and I want that with you, but it's going to require counseling because I've asked you, and you're not following through. Because when your marriage is on the line like mine was, it's not about right and wrong anymore. It's about how. How can we move towards healthy and mutual respect for each other? Because a marriage simply doesn't work when only one person is committed to those goals. Thank you so much for watching.